My friend, tensions are running high behind the scenes at Buffalo Bills HQ, and what I've just learned could shake up the entire course of the upcoming season. Our general manager, Beane, is on a mission. He's hungrier than ever to bring the Lombardi Trophy back to Buffalo. But before that dream can become reality, there are some major issues this team needs to resolve. And that's where things get really intense. Before I dive into all the insider info I've gathered, smash that like button, but only if you believe Beane is the man to lead us back to the Super Bowl. I believe it. The Mafia believes it. Do you? If you're with us, drop it in the comments. Go Bills! We're heading to the Super Bowl. Now buckle up, because what I'm about to share is absolutely mind-blowing. Let's get into it. What if I told you the Buffalo Bills just got one step closer to breaking the curse, and no one's talking about it enough? While most fans across the league are busy debating flashy trades and superstar signings, ESPN just quietly handed out their offseason grades for all 32 NFL teams. And the Buffalo Bills didn't just pass, they nearly aced it. Now you're probably wondering, if the Bills didn't make any big-name splashes in free agency or trade for a top-5 wideout, how did they land a B+? Stick around, because what's brewing in Buffalo is way deeper than headlines. It's a strategic reshaping of a franchise that's not just looking to make the playoffs, they're eyeing the Super Bowl, and they might just be building the most complete defense Josh Allen's ever had behind him. Let's break this down. First off, ESPN gave out exactly 4 A-level offseason grades across the entire NFL. Just one team got a straight A. Guess who? Not the Bills. That honor went to the Rams. The 49ers, Cardinals, and Broncos landed A-minuses. The rest of the league, they were clumped into B tiers or worse. And right there, sitting confidently among the top of the B tier rankings, were your Buffalo Bills with a solid B+, right alongside respected organizations like the Philadelphia Eagles, Tennessee Titans, and Baltimore Ravens. The Browns, Buccaneers, and Texans joined that group too. Now let's talk perspective. The Giants, B, Bears, B-. Even the reigning Super Bowl champs, the Kansas City Chiefs, couldn't crack A-B. They landed a B-, same as division rival Miami Dolphins. When you look at that landscape, a B+ stands out, especially when only 4 teams scored higher. This grade isn't just about hope. It's about execution. And that execution didn't come from showboating. It came from smart moves that show Buffalo is playing the long game. So, what exactly did ESPN highlight that earned the Bills this grade? Seth Walder, the ESPN analyst who wrote the review, didn't mince words. He said the Bills' offseason wasn't flashy. And you know what? That's exactly what made it powerful. The focus wasn't on grabbing headlines, it was on securing the core. Buffalo's front office, led by GM Beane, doubled down on keeping the future intact by extending key pieces of the roster: Josh Allen, Khalil Shakir, Greg Rousseau, Christian Benford, and Terrell Bernard. These aren't just contracts. These are chess moves. Every one of those players represents the core identity of the Bills moving forward: young, hungry, and battle-tested. These guys aren't aging stars on expensive deals. They're foundational talents whose ceilings are still rising. And by getting ahead of potential bidding wars in future off-seasons, Beane is saving the team serious cap space and locking down chemistry in the locker room. Let's talk specifics. ESPN highlighted one move they loved: the extension of wide receiver Khalil Shakir. And honestly, they're right. Shakir may not be flashy, but he's consistent, reliable, and built real trust with Josh Allen last season. With 76 receptions, over 800 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 9 explosive plays of over 20 yards, Shakir quietly had a breakout year without anyone really noticing. He's not a WR1, but that's not what the Bills are asking him to be. He's part of a deliberate shift away from the one superstar WR model. Buffalo is now leaning into a wide receiver by committee strategy, and with Shakir taking a leadership role in that room, he might just be on track to have the best season of his career. His new deal isn't just a reward, it's a challenge. A vote of confidence that this team believes he's only scratched the surface. Fans often worry that players get complacent after getting paid. But with Shakir, the vibe is different. The chemistry with Allen is real. The work ethic is there. And with no pressure to be the next Stefon Diggs, Shakir has freedom to become something even more dangerous: a dependable, versatile weapon who doesn't need the spotlight to shine. Now, not everything got rave reviews. ESPN did call out one move they didn't love: signing Josh Palmer in free agency. They called it uninspiring and questioned the value, citing his mediocre production and underwhelming yards per route run, even while playing with Justin Herbert. They claimed this was Buffalo's biggest wide receiver move, which, let's pump the brakes. Anyone who's watched the Bills this offseason knows Palmer wasn't brought in to be a WR1 or even WR2. He's depth, insurance, A body with experience who adds versatility to a crowded but cohesive WR room. If anything, the criticism says more about ESPN's perception than it does about the Bills' reality. Seth Walder seems to believe Palmer was Buffalo's headline acquisition at wide receiver. But inside the building, this move fits a different narrative, one modeled after the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay couldn't afford a Devontae Adams-style contract after locking in Jordan Love, so they loaded up on B and C-plus receivers, hoping 2 or 3 could collectively replicate elite production. Buffalo's doing something similar. They're paying their franchise QB. So instead of dropping $25 million a year on one wideout, they're building depth across the board. It's a risk, but it's strategic. If just a few of these guys, Shakir, Palmer, maybe even a draft pick, break out, suddenly the offense is humming without a cap-busting superstar. Of course, there's a downside to this strategy. If you don't have that elite WR who can beat elite corners, games can get tight. Think about facing Denver's secondary. That's where this WR committee approach gets tested. You need someone who can separate, someone who can win. And right now, the Bills don't have that proven alpha receiver. It's a calculated gamble, but one the Bills seem comfortable taking, knowing Allen's arm and legs can cover a lot of ground when the game is on the line. So what's the bottom line here? This B-plus offseason isn't about headlines. It's about building a sustainable contender. Being focused on the trenches, especially the defensive line, and stopping the run, the exact issues that have haunted this team in the postseason. With additions like Maxwell Hairston in the draft and a beefed-up defensive front, this team could field a top 10 defense for the first time in the Josh Allen era. And when the defense locks in, you give Allen fewer shootouts and more manageable wins. That's the formula. That's the window. That's the 2025 Buffalo Bills. But I'll leave you with this. Bills Mafia, is this finally the year? Could this be the team that breaks through the AFC gauntlet and books a ticket to the big game? My way too early pick still stands. Bills versus Commanders in the Super Bowl. And after this offseason, I haven't seen anything to change my mind. But what do you think? Is this WR committee approach going to work? Can Shakir step up? Was the Palmer signing a mistake or just a depth play? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it. Because here's the thing, Bills Mafia, this isn't just another hopeful offseason. We've had those. We've lived through the heartbreaks, the 13-second collapse, the missed opportunities, the injuries at the worst times. But this time, something feels different. This time, the front office didn't chase headlines. They doubled down on stability, identity, and long-term growth. That's not sexy. It's not going to get a Twitter post trending, but it just might be the exact formula the Bills have needed all along. Let's go a little deeper into what this offseason really means for the future of the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen, the franchise. When you lock him in with a fresh extension, you're not just betting on talent, you're betting on leadership. Allen has proven, time and again, that he's the heart of this team. He plays through pain. He takes accountability. And now, he's surrounded by young, high-upside talent that's being given time to develop instead of being thrown into the fire. Guys like Greg Rousseau and Terrell Bernard, who also received extensions,